have always been there for you. A place to get together with friends, to celebrate, to take a first date, or grab a meal between rugby and piano practice. And even though the tables are empty, some kitchens are still full, ready to feed you and your family while keeping you safe and making your meals as delicious as ever. They were there for you, now we can be there for them. While doors might be closed, kitchens are open for delivery. Let's eat.
You don't know who I am, but I know all about you. I've come to talk to you tonight about the things I've seen you do. I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold hard truth.
Good morning, Cayman. Welcome to another edition of the Cold Hard Truth. Thank you guys so much for getting up in the mornings with me. Rise and shine. I feel like we need to have a little cock-a-doodle-doo song going on here in the mornings. Get everybody up. The chickens are up and about. And boy, can I tell you, they absolutely love Cayman right now. They're able to roam freely. Nobody's sushing them away. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So good morning to all of you beautiful people. Thank you guys again for tuning in bright and early. And we are going to get this bus on the road here today. I've got gift certificates to give away. So I've got my notepad. Let me grab it here. I always have to write down stuff these days because you know the memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. So just remind me that who won yesterday? It was Gay Joy Ebanks, I think, was the person who won. And I wrote down some questions that you guys asked yesterday, and some of them I do have responses to as well. And you know what? Can I just tell you something? When you have a 3-year-old, you can't leave pen and paper laying around. Like if you can see all the scribbling on here, this is totally not me. Like she'll just grab pen and paper and scribble on it all the time. So I got to like hide my little notepads. And I don't know what it is about these little notepads that she really loves. It must be the color. As soon as she sees the color on these, she is like grabbing it. I need that paper. And then she says she wants to do a invitation. And I'm like, what? A what? A who? A invitation. I want to do a invitation for my birthday party. So it's an invitation to her birthday party. She is so funny. Like some words, she can pronounce really big words. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, you can pronounce that word. And then other times it's like the simple words that kind of trip her up, you know, like M&Ms. It's just M&Ms. And she says M&Ms. She's like, can I get some M&Ms? I'm like, okay. So got me some nice cold water. I always drink cold water. That's why a lot of times you guys see me with these, what do you call these cups? Like these insulated cups. This brand Orca is amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these before. And I totally don't do sales pitches for these people. Like I don't even know who they are, but they manufacture cups like this, like these cooler cups. And I have put like ice cold water at the bedstand at night, and you wake up in the morning 8 hours later or the next day or whatever, and it's still nice and cool or cold. Like these are awesome. They're very, very well insulated. So I'm guessing they work for hot stuff as well. I don't drink as much hot stuff because the only thing I drink hot really is tea. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I guess insulation is insulation, right? So it should work for hot as well. But these are cool. And then trying to be kind to Mother Earth. I reuse straws. So I'm a straw person big time for a couple of reasons. But I actually got this metal straw with one of these. I don't think it was this exact one, but I do use it interchangeably. And you just have to make sure, obviously, that you're cleaning it and disinfecting it properly because, you know, when you can't get all the way in there, they're all kind of germs and stuff. So they actually have a little straw brush that you can put down in there and make sure you're cleaning that. And I always soak it in a little like bleach disinfectant water to make sure we're getting it clean. So I do try to use either plastic straws or some plastic clear ones, which I kind of like because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. So with the plastic clear ones, at least I can see that, you know, I'm really getting clean in there. But this one, I always soak it in a little bit of bleach water, and then I use the straw cleaner brush to get in there. So yeah, so I'm good. Today is a special day, and I want you guys to guess what special day it is. So this is going to be our trivia for the day. Can anybody tell me what today is? So trivia question straight out of the barn. What is today? What day is it? April the 22nd. I got a gift certificate up for grabs here, folks. So if you can tell me what date you guys are too smart. Carol, that's just not fair. Carol, first one of the barn says it's Earth Day. You guys are just too smart. No, it's not my birthday. Carol was on it. Like I didn't even finish the question yet. At 7:27, Carol's like, boom, Earth Day. Absolutely. It is Earth Day. Che got it. Chris got it. Jacqueline got it. Whitney, nope, it's not my birthday. Tracy, Tanisha, Tamika, nope, not my anniversary. Not my anniversary. It is Earth Day. Thank you guys so much. Earth Day is all about us trying to care about the earth just a little bit more than we normally would. And sometimes it seems like we don't care about the earth at all. Like we really treat Mother Earth horribly. So let's talk a little bit about Earth Day. Sending a quick message here. Yes. All right, folks, Earth Day. So one of the beautiful things about this particular Earth Day is Mother Nature is actually getting a break from us. She is probably so thankful. She's like, this is the best Earth Day in like 50 years. So let's have a look at, starting off on a very positive note, how Mother Nature might be appreciating our efforts this morning. And of course, none of us are doing this because we really care about the earth. We're doing this because we are scared for our own lives, right? So our fear has kept us inside, off the streets, you know, self-isolating, the whole 9 yards. And the fringe benefit is that on this particular Earth Day, Mother Nature has gotten to breathe a sigh of relief. So I don't know if I showed you guys the pictures of the what do you call them? The tigers and lions, and you know, they are like just chilling and hanging out. No worries. Like they've just taken back the roads and stuff, and Africa and all over the world. We talked about India, the first time in 30 something years, people being able to see the Himalayan mountains for the first time because the air pollution has been so significantly reduced because of the lack of traffic, the lack of buses and cars and all sorts of pollutant, causing vehicles on the roads. And yeah, I mean, that has been a really good thing for the earth. So we're going to talk about what else Mother Nature has appreciated during this time. I was trying to find that picture because it is an amazing photo. I mean, it was baby cubs, baby lions, mama, papa, everybody just like chilling out and lying down, no concern in the world, soaking up the sun. And it was just really nice to see. Now, here in Cayman, we don't have a whole lot of wild animals other than the chickens and the agoutis. But honestly, I have noticed that even the agoutis are more active, because I never realized, I always thought they were like really early or late at night. But since this whole shelter in place provision has been in place, I have actually noticed them out and about more and later in the day. So I'm thinking, maybe they're not as, they're not really nocturnal, but maybe they're not even, into the early morning hours as I think. They get to sleep in a little bit because we're sleeping in, and maybe they don't mind that. They don't mind coming out a little bit later. So that's like super awesome. So I was reading this article this morning. The skies are clearing of pollution. Wildlife is returning to newly clear waters again. A host of flights have been scrapped, and crude oil is so worthless, imagine this, that the industry would have to pay you to take it off of their hands. A few months ago, environmentalists could only dream of such a scenario, as the 50th anniversary of Earth Day is now here. So 50 years already. Wow, that's amazing. So it goes on to say, but this green new reality is causing little cheer, given the cause is the coronavirus pandemic that has ravaged much of the world. So Gina McCarthy, who's the former head of the U.S. Environmental and Protection Agency, you know them, the EPA, under the Obama administration, said, "This isn't the way we would have wanted things to happen. This is just a disaster that pointed out the underlying challenges we face, and it's not something to celebrate." Well, maybe. I'm celebrating it because I'm thinking Mother Earth is kind of happy. So 50th anniversary for Earth Day. People are doing all sorts of things online for it, of course, since we're not able to meet in person. Pollution levels across China, Europe, the US have dropped significantly. Carbon emissions from the burning of fossil fuels heading for a 5% annual drop. And that's actually a record. Imagine that being a record, like 5%. Doesn't really sound like a whole lot, but apparently it's a record for us. So that is 2.5 BN. And I don't know, I'll have to look at what measurement that is, because obviously that's talking about fossil fuel. So we'll double check what that is. But that's 2.5 BN tons this year alone, a reduction of 5%. And that's only in a couple months. Imagine if this lasted for a year. Mother Earth would be like, it would be unprecedented. So restrictions on work and travel has cut billions of barrels of oil, trillions of cubic metrics of gas, and millions of tons of coal from the global energy system just this 2020. And this is all new data that has been submitted. CO emissions, lowest in years. So this is really, I think, an amazing situation. And I think we should celebrate it. Like, yes, we're not happy that we're in quarantine or anything like that, but, let's take something positive out of this. So crude oil demand is down, and it's just amazing. Let's see how else Mother Earth is really breathing a sigh of relief on this 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So Carol, but wait a minute, Carol. Oh yes. I was thinking of the other Carol that's in the back. I was like, how am I going to get you this gift certificate? No, Carol is here on Grand Cayman. So Carol, you get a gift certificate of your choice, Burger King or Popeyes. So this is going to be interesting after this pandemic is over. What will happen? I mean, can we take away some lessons from this? I'm really hoping that we can, because I think that would really be amazing. Let's see who's joining me this morning. Tamika, Chance, Cayman Brack. Chance had a new look the other day. I noticed that she featured a new hair color on Facebook. Chance, I'm feeling it. I like it. Paulette, Miss Alma, Dimitri, good morning. Evelyn, of course. Shane, Francis, Mr. IT man himself. Big up yourself, Shane. Big up yourself. Shane, you mentioned something, I think it was yesterday's show, about testing. And I do want to delve into that a little bit here today. We do have a special guest that is going to be joining us. KRISTA is her name. And of course, I've been telling you guys a little bit about KRISTA. She has a food delivery service. So I actually have breakfast this morning, folks. Yay. Got breakfast right here. I'm going to start eating right in front of you because I want to tell you exactly how it tastes in real time so that we know exactly what kind of cooking KRISTA's up to. Paulette, what do I have for you today? We are going to talk to KRISTA. We are going to talk more COVID-19 factual information and try to dispel some myths. So last night's conversation, I didn't get to finish. You know, sometimes you just start and you're like, man, this is such a good conversation. And then you never really get to finish it. Yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to talk about some of the misinformation that's in circulation. I posted a video last night. So we're going to talk about some of the social media happenings. And it was of a young lady at Margaritaville who got tested. Now, there were a lot of people who appreciated the video. And then there were some people who were like, oh my gosh, are you trying to scare people? This isn't good. And I don't know. I'm not quite sure why people are so afraid of the cold hard truth. Like in all forms, you show a video. This is what it's like to get tested, folks. Yes, it's not pretty and it's not nice, but it'll last a few seconds and then you're done. And we will probably all have to be tested. That is the goal. And so what's the big deal is showing you? Like for me, I would rather know. KRISTA called me an information junkie this morning, and I think sometimes that is true. But I would rather know what is coming my way so that mentally even I can prepare for it than not have a clue and just be like, oh, wow, scare me in the moment. No, I want to know. Anybody else likes to know things before it hits you in the head? It's kind of like when you go to do blood work. Have you guys ever done this before? Are you the type of person who looks at what's happening, or do you look away? I want to know. What kind of person are you? Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Michelin, Angela, Miss Zita. Angela's watching from the UK. Thank you so much. Debbie, Rose, Joan, Carol, our winner of the day. Jacqueline, beautiful Jackie. Jackie has such a gorgeous family. Whitney, Tracy, Tanisha, Tamika. All right, so listen. Tanisha says she looks. Tamika looks. Irvin doesn't want to get tested. Juanita says, Alric, that lady never did call me. I see where she read the message, but no reply back. Okay, so I don't know what lady that is. Is Alric here already? Alric is normally tuned in. So hopefully he's gotten that message. Alric, respond to Juanita, perhaps privately, because I don't even know what Juanita is talking about. But check it out, see what's going on. And yeah, I want to look, because can I tell you, sometimes they be poking all over the place. I'm like, excuse me, nurse? I actually forewarned them because I already know the score with me and my veins. So apparently in my arm, I have very difficult to detect veins, according to some nurses. When I'm overseas, I think because they've done a million, they're like, lady, please, tap, tap, bam, they're in. They find the line right away. In Cayman, not so much so. They tend to use the children's needle, the little cat needle, the little fine one, to try to get in there. And, they have to be slapping it and pulling the rubber band. And they're just like, you don't have very prominent veins in your arm at all. And the other day I told the lady that. She's like, no, I'll be able to find it. I'm the best at this, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right. And she's tapping in one arm. She looks at the other arm. She's like, oh, yes. Now I see what you mean. Your veins are just not, they don't pop up readily at all. So what that meant was she actually had to go into my hand, because I do have more prominent veins in my hand. But in the arm itself, it's really hard for them to get in there. But there is a good one. There's I don't know if you guys can see my veins or not, but there's a really good one that's kind of there once I flex the ball. Yeah, so I'm like, listen, test me. I'm all for it, whatever it takes. That's the only way to get a hold of this situation. Testing. I've been saying it for a really long time, and I'm glad the government now sees the benefit of testing everyone. I think every single person should be tested. Knowledge is information. I mean, knowledge is information. What did I just say? Knowledge is information, but knowledge is power, is the saying. And there is a reason why, good morning, Debbie Ann. There's a reason why we say that. You can make informed decisions when you're in the know, whether it's about your personal health, the world at large, Earth Day statistics, how to recycle, how to, tap into your emotions, whatever information you have about different aspects of your life. Understanding more about government. Hey, can I tell you guys something? Yesterday, I did a demo on here, in case you missed it, of how to, let me just grab my wipes. I got a little itch in my nose. I did a demo for you guys on how to do the money transfer thing online with Western Union. $2.99 to send $500 US to Jamaica. So there were those of you who were very keen on it. I've received numerous messages. Hey, Miss Sandra, can you send me the link? I actually haven't done it from the phone yet, but I'm thinking it was easy enough from the PC, so the phone can't be that difficult, right? And there were other people who tried it. Took them a minute, because one person's like, oh, I don't see Cayman. Then eventually they found how to put in their Cayman address. So I just wanted to let you guys know there are people who use their Cayman Islands address, because like I said, in my case, I use the US address, but a CNV Cayman debit card. There were other people who used their Cayman address, local debit card, and had no issues. Selected the bank, boom, it's gone. You just have to go through the verification process. So it works, folks, and it's going to save you a ton of money as well. I mean, every time you go to Western Union and Cayman, if you're sending $15 or $20, that's the service fee to send the money off. So many of you couldn't believe that it was $2.99. You're like, no, that's got to be some other fee, like you paying something else. And I'm like, nope. Telling you straight up, $2.99. That's it. So I paid $502.99. So yeah, it was easy as pie. Get on it, folks. Evelyn says I prepped them where to poke and use the smallest needle, and then I look away, shaking my feet. Oh my goodness. Shan says, but they want to sell test kits instead of testing everybody. So Shan, I did say this last night on last night's show. I think what we need to do first is test everyone first. Like, do not give away all of our test kits or sell them, because I do believe we will be needing more than we think. Yeah. So in the moment, we're like, oh, we got 200,000 test kits. That's plenty. Pump the brakes. Some people will need to be retested, reconfirmed, and so on. So Whitney, I am with you on this one. Let's test everybody first, because if they need to be tested 2 or 3 times, we want to make sure that we have enough. Whitney, I love your profile photo. Can we start doing a little bit of inspirational quotes during the end of the show? Switch it up a little bit in a positive way. You're asking your fans for some topics we'd like to talk about during your podcast. Absolutely. Now, we do normally start off the show with an inspirational message. So I think yesterday morning, I actually missed it because sometimes I just jump into the conversation. And I do have it ready now. So Whitney, are you saying you'd rather save it to the end of the show so that we're all leaving on a positive note instead of starting it at the beginning of the show? I don't mind. Either way works for me. Yeah, so Whitney, one of the things that we do is we do have Seek Out Sandy, which is a Q&A segment that we basically, it's open mic and you get to ask whatever questions you want. So you guys guide the conversation based on what you want to chat about, what questions you have. I've got some good news about pensions. So I have some of your questions answered, but on Thursday evening, we have tentatively booked a pension administrator to come on the show. So I'm excited about this because that person's going to explain to you guys, because remember now, the Legislative Assembly's meeting, they're going to pass this new pensions revision so that you can get access to some of your pension funds. Now, a lot of people have questions about exactly how it's going to work. I think I've answered 90% of your questions, but we want to get someone here who that's their specialty. That's what they know and that's what they do. They are a pension administrator, and this particular person is awesome. She's been doing this for years, and she is really, really knowledgeable. So Thursday evening, please, please, please mark your calendar to get it straight from the expert's mouth right here on the Hardcore Truth. So Juanita says, Evelyn, me either. I'm scared to do it. It looks painful. Listen, I'm telling you guys, it is literally 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Raymond says online money transfers is the way to go. Shan says, yes, take care of your own before you go on the outside. I agree with that. Shan likes it at the beginning of the show because sometimes you have an abrupt ending and you may forget. That is very true, Shan. So in keeping with that, let's do it right now. Because yeah, sometimes I get into it and, this one is called Sacred Vows. This is the daily Om for the day. And daily Om is just a fancy way of saying, listen, this is our daily message. We're putting positivity into the universe, into the world. So today's one is entitled Sacred Vows. And it says a sacred vow once spoken becomes a part of your existence forever. Wow. Speech is a vehicle of vows, but the sacred vows we speak are more than just words. When we make a promise, a subtle yet powerful shift takes place in our souls where intentions are housed. A vow is both a tool we employ in order to facilitate transformation within ourselves and an expression of will. Thus, to make an oath is to communicate to the universe and our deeper selves our commitment to the principles most important to us. Fulfilling a sacred vow, whether it is as complex as "till death do us part" or as simple as "I promise," challenges us exercising our willpower and aiding powerful personal growth. When we speak a sacred vow out loud rather than reciting it in our minds or recording it on paper, our voices project our promises into the deepest reaches of the universe. It is important that we remember that a vow made with the sincerest of intentions has the power to carry on past our earthly lifetimes. A well-chosen vow encourages commitment and dedication. The presence or approval of a spiritual teacher is not necessary to success, as true oaths are a product of the heart. A sacred vow, once spoken, becomes a part of your existence forevermore. Your view of the world around you may change, and your predominant thoughts and feelings will no doubt evolve with time. But the spirit in which your oaths were spoken will remain unaffected. It is up to you to determine how you will stay true to your vows while your inner and outer existence is transformed. Your strength and character will inevitably be tested as circumstances make keeping promises increasingly challenging. But after you've shown yourself steadfast many times, your appreciation of the sanctity of vows will be cemented in your mind and soul. That is powerful, folks. You know, we often say your word is your bond. And that to me is what this is all about, sacred vows. I just want to remind you guys that you can participate. I know a lot of you love to just send WhatsApp messages, but you can also participate in the show by calling us. Sorry, I meant to say Facebook comments, but you can also call us on the WhatsApp number. I've got it here, and we can hear your beautiful voices. This whole concept of a sacred vow, I think, is so important. You know, a lot of us are married. We got in front of people, family members, friends, and we gave a vow until death do us part. Not all of us keep it, but we gave a vow. And vows are like, it's like when you become a citizen of another country. One of the things you have to do is a pledge of allegiance. And do you notice how they make you do it? You actually say it out loud. It's not something that you can just read it on a piece of paper and say, okay, I've read it, let me sign. I understand. They want you, I pledge allegiance to the United States of America. They want you to say it. That's what this is all about. Sacred vows. When you say something, we've talked about the power of words here on this program before, because sometimes we don't always understand the power of words, but they can be extremely powerful. And again, it's the same concept of, you know what, you say something, you almost create its existence, you put it into being. Whether it is, it's like if you sing the national song, you know, it's one thing like singing something in your head, but when you actually vocalize it, you get like the little bumps on your arm, and you're like, wow, this is such a powerful song when you vocalize it. Whitney, thank you so much for the compliment. Whitney says, okay, Shan, thank you for the reminder. Shan says, and I love when you have on your natural looks. You're very beautiful, Miss Sandra. You need your own TV show. Well, this is it. Live and direct. Without all the production crew that's needed for TV show. Because, you know, when you do like a real TV show, oh my gosh, so much is involved in that. Having a formal set and production. So I've got my created set, my national pride in the background, Cayman Islands flag. Oh, it looks like you can't see the coat of arms on my flag. So let me adjust the camera just a little bit. There we go. So yeah, I've got a little mini production thing going on here. But thank you for that. We live in a world now, Whitney, where people no longer expect overproduced things. Like we don't expect overproduced commercials, or anything of the sort. People just want the cold, hard, honest truth, and they don't really care almost how they get it. They're just like, listen, bring it to me. As long as I can see you and I can hear you, I'm tuned in for it and I'm good. The cost of producing a show has gotten to the point now where it's not even all of that, it doesn't make money sense for people to do it. So Zandy says, how long will it take persons to receive payments? Okay, I do have that answered. That was one of my questions from yesterday. So here's how it's going to work with pensions. So let me just refresh your minds. You will have to fill out an application to your pension administrator. Now, please keep in mind that what you think is in your pension fund may not be there. So the first thing you'd want to verify is actually how much money you have in your pension fund. So that's the first thing. Then you apply, because based on that, you'll decide how much you want to take out. So you can take out an initial payment of up to $10,000. Okay? So you can apply to take that out. The pension companies have 7 days in which to process your application. Keep in mind, folks, that there's going to be thousands of people doing the exact same thing as you. So you got to have some patience. The pension administrators, they only have so many people working for those companies. They may be looking to hire someone or 2 people temporarily to kind of get through this process. So 7 days to process your application. And then they have up to 45 days, which is basically a month and a half, to do your payout. Again, there is a process. So you can't just run in there and be like, hand me my cash right now, I'm walking out the door. They've got to apply, they've got to do whatever to pull the funds, to get the funds here. I don't even know if most of the funds even stay in the Cayman Islands or exactly how that works. Now, if you have more than $10,000, you can also get 25% of the remaining balance. And these are the questions and the details that we will be speaking with the pension administrator on Thursday evening. She's tentatively booked, and we will confirm. So we will send her some questions. She's asked for questions. So if you have any pension, like really specific pension questions, please send those through. Of course, I want to remind you guys that this is only for private sector pensions. So if you work for the Cayman Islands government, and a lot of you have been asking this question, you will not be eligible for this. And some government agencies, that includes you. And I did reach out to the Public Service Pension Fund for a response to who exactly that includes. So I'm going to have that information for you. As a matter of fact, let me tell you now. Since we're having the discussion, let me just pull up the email. And I'm going to tell you exactly who, because I couldn't remember, because I know that some agents, like some government, like Monetary Authority, Port Authority, they're authorities, which means they have like a whole separate management stuff. But, at the end of the day, they do have some connection still with government, central government. So let me just see here. Public Service Pension. So we emailed them yesterday, and they were very good about responding immediately. So let me tell you what they have done. They've provided us a link. So there are 15 statutory authorities and government-owned companies that participate in the public service pension fund, and that is run by the Public Service Pension Board. So those 15, you do not qualify if you work for those, because it's kind of like working for government. So here they are: CIMA, which is the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority; CIAA, Cayman Islands Airport Authority; Cayman Islands Development Bank; Cayman Turtle Farm; Kays Foundation; Civil Aviation Authority; the Cayman Islands Stock Exchange; OFREG, which is the Utility Regulation and Competition Office of the Cayman Islands; the Health Services Authority, so HSA; Tourism Attraction Board; the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands; Synico, which is the government health insurance scheme; the National Roads Authority, NRA; the Public Service Pensions Board; and the Water Authority of the Cayman Islands. So if you work for any of those or the Cayman Islands government, you are not eligible for withdrawing from your pensions. So hopefully that answers a lot of questions. Patrina wants us to send the link. So Bobby says MoneyGram app can also be used from here, and it's a lot cheaper than Western Union. Well, I don't know how much cheaper you can get than $2.99, but hey, everybody's looking to save money, so whatever works. I don't care. I don't work for Western Union, so I'm not peddling them necessarily. I'm just saying, folks, check it out. They all have phone apps now, smartphone apps. And of course, you can do it from a computer if you have access to computer. Jarian says, I would pass out before that reached my nose. That's why Mia turn on my yard. Simone, beautiful Simone, good morning. So Bobby says, yes, use the app, folks. It's cheaper and faster, and you get it right away. Now, Bobby, I'm curious to know, are you sending it when you use MoneyGram? Are you sending it to their bank account, or are you just sending it to like a location where they can go pick it up? Louie, good morning, honey. Louie, as I recall, is it Detroit or Colorado? Remind me. Michelle, Whitney says, no sugarcoating, just being real and accurate. Absolutely. Sharp Boss says, stay home. That's right, boss man. Hashtag stay home. Is there a link for the application? So the pension administrator that we will have on is obviously going to be for a specific company. But every company should have the application available. So what I'm thinking is they're all working overtime right now, getting that application ready, because I don't know if it's going to be a special application just for this situation, but they're probably sorting that out. I know a few of them are updating their websites because they're anticipating people being able to log on. Remember, a lot of them have online access where you can actually log on and check your account balance from online. And I've had, with my pension provider, access to that for at least 5 years now, where I could just log on and check, because I used to work for a company that they didn't used to like to pay pension. So I would be on them like a hawk to make sure that my pension contributions were being made. And you can certainly do that online. We are going to have Cindy. I think Cindy is going to be joining us one day soon to discuss her pension provider and why years later she's no longer employed for them and she's not yet gotten her pension money. And this is more of an issue and a concern than anything else, I can assure you. Because the problem is you have these rogue employers who have not paid into pension funds. And as a result of that, there are people now who could really use that money and they don't have it because their employer hasn't paid. And of course, there is a process now to try to get them to pay. And that process is going to be long and drawn out and taken to court. And then the court gives them the ability to pay over a certain amount of time. And it's not really to the benefit of the employees. And when crunch time like this happens and you actually need your money, this is really messed up, because now you realize how these employers have put others in a very untenable situation. Like, it's just completely 100% wrong that they can even do this. But this is what they do. And it's disgusting. I think there should be greater penalties for employers who do not pay pension, and especially when they're taking your pension money out. They're stealing from you. They take it out, they use it for whatever, to run their businesses, to pay their own personal bills, whatever, and you are not getting the benefit of that money. And it's not accruing the respective interest over time, etc. So how unfair is that? It's just crazy. All right, we're going to be getting ready for Krista to join the show here shortly. So Krista, start getting ready, honey. Any updates on licensing as yet of non-essential workers? So Whitney, we're waiting because they do have to amend some legislation for that as well. We haven't heard the exact plan, but I think on yesterday's show, I kind of told you what I have heard from my sources on the Mall Road of what's going to kind of happen. So Chris says it's always been 45 days to pay out. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll ask these questions of the pension administrator, like, why does it take so long? I'm sure it is really more of a logistical question of them getting access to the funds, because like I said, it's probably not as easy as you think. And right now, what they're going to have happening is a complete run on the pension fund money. So Debbie says, morning, I tried to call you, but didn't get you, left a message. I have a real concern about some people's pensions. Sorry to change the subject, but we have some serious issues. I know 9 people who have no pension. Why? Because their companies have been deducting, and wow, let's just talk about this, deducting pension, but not paying it into the pension plans. These companies need to be named and shamed. 8 of the people are Caymanians. Not that it matters. The law is broken. What is going to happen to those poor people? And this is an excellent question. And like I was just saying, this is where it's kind of messed up now, because at the end of the day, the government has a process of taking people to court. You have years that these cases take. And then they put the employers on a pension plan repayment scheme, and they get to take their time repaying you. It's just ridiculous. We have reported on Cayman Mall Road these situations before in hopes of naming and shaming these people, because I think, number one, if you're an employee, you should know before you accept a job offer if this person has a history of paying or not paying. Some years ago, when Lonnie Tibbetts was head of pension and labor, he had a website, a public naming and shaming website, where he was outing companies who were not compliant with the pension law. I don't know how long he was in that position for before he went to Cineco, but that didn't last very long. He ended up leaving and going to Cineco, and then whoever took over pensions and labor from him did not keep up that initiative. I thought it was actually a really good initiative. So Debbie, I'm not sure if that was you that messaged me in WhatsApp or how you messaged me, but I did have someone calling me like 12:30 last night, and I was just trying to actually get to bed. I don't think I actually went to sleep after 1, but I was trying to mentally get there. And so I wasn't sure if that was you or not, or if you messaged me in some other way, but I will check messages after the show. If you can provide evidence of, pay slips and who these people are, because we don't want to be erroneously outing people that, we're wrong. So definitely provide us with the evidence, and we'll be more than happy to name and shame these employers as jackasses of the day. So Cindy will be joining the show to talk about her situation. Dimitrik, you have to contact your pension administrator. So like I said, a lot of them have the ability for you to check it online. All right, I think I'm a little bit behind on questions, so let me kind of quickly go through these, and then we're going to have KRISTA joining us here in a minute. So Tanisha says, Sandy, can you warn people about a scam going on right now using Mr. Alden's page, telling people to sign up for funding from the United Nations program? Thank you. I think I mentioned this yesterday or the day before. This is actually an old scam. But yes, times like this, people are desperate and they're thinking, oh, well, I heard something about government making money available. You will never have to give a legit government agency or program money to get money. So these are people, again, looking to scam you. Some guy named Kowalski Reed, that's probably not even his real name, scamming people and says that you have to send $630, imagine this, to collect $40,000. Just had to make it known, don't want anyone getting caught. And someone did, the reason why I brought it up in the show is someone did message me a few days ago to say that they were contacted through Instagram. So they set these social media accounts pretending to be people, whether it's the governor or the premier or another minister of government. And then they talk about, yes, this United Nations program, or they always change up the name a little bit. But don't fall for it, folks. It's a bunch of hokey pokey stuff. It's not real. It's not a legit program. And so we don't want you guys being taken advantage of, because right now that $630 for some of you is rent money, food money, trying to pay CUC, sending money overseas money. So don't waste your hard-earned money trying to get a quick buck. That's not how these things work. Government will always do things through their official government channels, whether it's CIDB or whatever, and you normally have to apply. There's normally a ton of paperwork, like the paperwork will kill you alone, and all sorts of processes before you get an answer. No one's going to guarantee that you're going to get anything. So even when you apply for money from government, you don't necessarily get that money just in your hand. There's an application process, and you have to be vetted, and they need to make sure you're actually going to pay the money back, first of all, right? So Whitney says the fines need to be increased to $100,000 or 10 years imprisonment for the employers, because it's unfair to the employee, basically a loss to the employee in the long run. And it absolutely is. And there's a lot of companies who are doing it. And like I said, we have featured a number of these companies on our website before. One of them that comes to mind, because sometimes these companies have been so flagrantly disregarding the law for years that they owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. So one that we featured some years ago, I think her name is Teresa Chin. Let me just see if I can pull up. If you go to CMR website, there's a search icon bar up at the top right, and you can put in keywords and search for stuff. So here's a few that we have featured just in the 2.5 years that Cayman Mall Road has been around. So she's the former owner of Cayman 123 Travel. That company has gone defunct. They did have her in court for theft of money, which she got off on, because she was taking money from her clients, booking travel. We're supposed to book travel for them, but actually leaving them in the lurch and not booking travel at all. And that was kind of not cool. And many people saw that as theft. So they had her charged with some fraud some fraud charge, but she got off. The jury let her off. What can you say? God bless the jury system. When they like you, you're good to go. So she owes almost $100,000, facing a total of 39 charges. So what that means is 39 people were working for her and she wasn't paying in their pension fund. All right. So what happens? This has been going on for years. So much so that magistrate, I think this was Hernandez, if I'm not mistaken, was kind of getting tired of the back and forth. And she's like, listen, woman, you need to find a way to pay this money or else. Now, the interesting thing about this is this lady, Teresa Chin, works for MLA Dwayne Seymour at his office. So after her company goes defunct and she owes tons of people money, she's able to turn around herself and essentially get a government job. Listen to what I'm telling you. Because right now, when you work for an MLA office, you work for government. They changed it now that they have one member constituencies, right? So you work for the MLA offices, you work for government, you get paid from the Cayman Islands government, you get a paycheck, you get your own pension paid for by the Cayman Islands government, aka the people of the Cayman Islands are now paying into a pension fund for her. And full coverage for health insurance. And you're making at least $5,000 a month to run an MLA office. Isn't that amazing? Even after her Cayman 123 travel went belly up, she was still operating. And this was an article on her website going back to January of 2018. So she was still operating her her travel agency company under a different name called Jules Tours and Travels, 2 doors down from her original location. This is when you know the ish in Cayman is just like next level ridiculous. Like seriously. So the judge said, this was in summary court, she owes $95,927.65 in pension money. They asked her to come up with a pension payment plan of what she can afford. And this was in July of 2018. So here are the sus, folks. And again, you can go on our website and you can read these articles for your own. They're all right there. I'll copy some of the links here in a minute. So she proposed paying, now this is going to knock your socks off. She proposed paying $250 per month as repayment on the almost $100,000 that is owed to other people. $250 per month. There are people who make way less than $5,000 a month, and they're made to pay child maintenance and child support and other things that is way more than $250 per month. So why her and her lawyer actually thought that the court would accept this proposition is beyond me. And the judge was like, this is crazy. So summary court magistrate refused that amount And then she comes back and says, okay, because apparently at $250 per month, it would take her 36 years. Listen to what I'm saying to you, folks. It would take 36 years to pay this money back. So you can imagine waiting 36 years to get your pension money. Honestly, most of us are going to be dead in 36 years. So depending on how old you were working for them, for this 123 travel company, 36 years later, you might not even be alive to enjoy your pension fund. Isn't that crazy? But that's the reality of what she was proposing. So $500, then she went up to $500 a month, and the judge said no. She refused that amount as well. And she agreed that the court would allow payments of $700 for the next 3 months, and then the minimum allowed payment would be $1,000 a month. And that that should give her sufficient time, as the judge said, to sort yourself out. So Chin submitted income and expense reports, and the judge observed that she pays $1,700 per month for rent. And at the time, our CMR sources, this is what's up on your screen, showed us exactly where she was living and what she was paying. So she's living in this house. She's claiming that she's paying out of her salary $1,700 a month, almost $2,000 a month for this house that looks like a decent house, multiple stories, et cetera, et cetera. And the judge said it appears that Chin is, in quotes, living above one's means. The judge said, why do you need a 3-bedroom home? And then she claims that her daughter and granddaughter also live with her. And then the judge says, why are you paying rent for other family members? And she provided old telecom bills, talking about she owes Flo and whoever else. And the judge, the magistrate, said, listen, those do not take priority over what is owed to the employees. And the judge said the following: we don't call it theft under the pensions law, but that's what it amounts to. People need to cut their suit according to their cloth. That's what we say here in the Caribbean. In other words, if you can't afford it, cut your suit according to your cloth. How much cloth do you have to make that suit? You cannot live above your means. So in addition to the $95,000 owed, there's another $13,000 in related fines. And again, pensions were deducted from employees but never paid into a pension fund. And this case has been going on since 2015, when it was reported to the Department of Labor and Pensions. Now, in this particular situation, she entered a number of guilty pleas. Then she turns around, sets up another company called KSR Inc. Limited, where she's the owner, or she puts it in her daughter's name or whatever. Again, everybody trying to get one over on the system. Trading as Jules Tours and Travel, 2 doors down or 1 door down from the previous defunct agency. And she is the district PA for Boddentown MLA Dwayne Seymour, the same one who can get on the TV and cry over a few words. She is a civil servant and has a civil servant contract. You know, you can't make this stuff up even if you tried. Another one that has been featured is Champion House, the owner of Champion House. I feel sorry for this elderly lady, but she owes $177,000. $177,000 in unpaid employee pension contributions. The company admitted to not paying pensions for almost 10 years. So this is Miss Dorothy. And whether you're young or old, whatever, if you get in business, you have got to be prepared, especially when you have people working for you, to pay them what is legally theirs. Pension, health insurance, their salary, these things are mandated by law. And you can't not pay people. And especially, like I said, I mean, the judge says it's the equivalent of theft. I wish they would start calling it that, and they would start charging them with theft. Because under the pension law, they, pretty it up. And this is ridiculous. 32 employees in this case, between 1999 and 2008, got no pensions paid into their pension fund. Now, you guys know the sad thing about this is a lot of these employees are expat workers. So they end up leaving the jurisdiction. How easy do you think it's going to be for them to ever see a dime of their money again? So Magistrate Foldatz was dealing with this one. And he was saying that the company needs to start looking at their assets and what they can liquidate, what they can get rid of in order to clear up this debt. Don't have any pictures of her, or trust me, I'd be putting them up as well. The next jackass of the day for non-payment of pension fund is a guy named Robert Duty. And like I said, we can't make these facts up. Sat down and read his file. Originally, him and his wife, his ex-wife, were both charged in this case. The ex-wife is a Caymanian. He now has status. Of course, he's just as Caymanian as you and I, per the law. They were both initially charged because they had a company called Electrical Enterprises 2000 Limited. The charges against the wife were dropped at some point in time during the criminal proceedings. And once again, this guy owes over $161,000 for not making pension contributions to at least 40 employees over a 12-year period of time. Can you believe it? This is a lot of money, folks. That extra $100,000, that extra $161,000, Champion House was $170-something thousand. I mean, what do you think they were doing with that money? Honestly. What they were doing is living a lifestyle, as the magistrate said, above their means. Whether that means for the company, so maybe they were making purchases for their company and, things that they really couldn't afford as a company. A company is just like, listen, you got to know what you can afford from what you can't afford. Don't put your hat higher than you can reach it. Simple. But evidently they were doing that. And so them doing that means what to the people? The people are out of their hard-earned money. They're taking money out. They're not putting the money in. And so as a result, $170-something thousand, $100,000 plus fees and interest. And it's like, where does the buck stop? So this case has been going on for a really long time. And what I must say about this particular case that I found interesting with this Robert Day guy is when I was reading this court file, I found it interesting that the Pension and Labor Office really gave both him and his wife more than ample opportunity to address the situation over the years. It was a constant back and forth with them, meeting after meeting after meeting. Even during Hurricane Ivan, this couple apparently wanted to take advantage of a pension holiday, which is crazy. So if you right now are not compliant with paying pensions, you cannot take advantage of a pension holiday. It's only made available to companies and individuals who have been fully compliant with paying their pensions. So they didn't pay it. They were seeking a pension holiday. So they came up with some excuse like, oh yeah, well, we were paying it for this period of time because we had all of our employees sign documentation saying that they were happy to do a pension holiday. Stop it. You didn't qualify for a pension holiday because you were already in arrears. And to qualify for a pension holiday, you're actually supposed to go through the pensions office and tell them in advance of your intentions to take this pension holiday. Your employees have to agree to it. And the pension office needs to know that you have been fully compliant up until that point. So they weren't even eligible for a pension holiday. So after many years of back and forth between 2008 and 2011, finally they were taken to court. 33 persons, the vast majority of these employees who worked for them, were never registered in a pension plan at all. They didn't even sign people up. In 2011, they stopped renewing their business license, but continued operating. These are people who have no consideration for the laws of this country whatsoever. They just do not care. Gets even better with this couple. And again, like I said, eventually the husband's going to take the fall for this. The wife is like, oh, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Yes, I was a Cayman partner, but I don't know anything about it. Funny enough, the pension meetings were with both of them. They were instructed on numerous occasions to pay, but they ignored it. In November of 2012, the pension enforcement officers were informed that the company had gone out of business. But hear this joke. The couple, the husband and wife that owned that company, began working for another electrical company called Power Plus. That's what they told the pensions office. Come to find out, both of them, both defendants, were part owners of Power Plus with a 35% share of the company. These people are scammers and liars, and they do it at the expense of the people of this country, the hardworking people who need their money. Can you believe it? They even transferred some of their staff over. This is how gullible people can be as employees. So there's a guy who was a 53-year-old Caymanian national called Mr. Miles, 26 years of electrical trade experience. He had previously worked as an apprentice license, and they have his license number, tied to Electrical Enterprises 2000 Limited. That was the company. Power Plus now wishes to employ him and is asking for his license to be tied to them, and they submitted along with his application a cover letter of their listed employees and their license numbers to support the application. So this is what they did. They shut down one company And they're hiring the same staff that they did not bother to take out a pension plan for, none at all, into the new company where they have a 35% stake. Yep. This is still in court. No resolution. They're supposed to be determining Robert Duty's his name, what they're going to do. Take a good look at his face, folks. Living the good life. They're supposed to be determining what they're going to do with him. Well, now COVID-19 has delayed that, but of course, that's another 40-something people that have not gotten their pension money, will probably never get it. Meanwhile, this dude is working as a general manager, get this, of Power Plus, and Power Plus is affiliated with NCB Group, and we understand through our sources that he still has some ownership in the company. NCB Group is a large company that's owned by the White brothers or one of the sons or something. NCB Cayman, and they do a lot of construction on island, so you might be familiar with some of their development projects. Dart Real Estate and NCB present Olia, the first for sale residential development at Cayman Bay. Bling bling. Another residential project called Aura, A-U-R-A. They do a lot of work, and one of their companies is Power Plus. So they must do all the electrical work for NCB. And, you know, they've got lots of construction. They do project management. They do property services. They're developers, residentials. They have Solara, Tides, Cypress Point North, Cypress Point. And the commercial project that they did, a lot of us will know, is Cayman Technology Center. That's where Digital's headquarters is, the security center headquarters. And that was, you know, a big deal when they first opened, because that was Cayman's most efficient building with solar powered everything and blah, blah, blah. So NCB Group is a big company. They've been around for at least 13 years now. And they claim to develop exceptional residential communities and commercial buildings throughout the Cayman Islands. And in addition to their own development projects, they are a construction company. So NCB Construction has worked on a number of projects, and they have them all listed here. Lakeside, Oceana, Sailfish Cay, Woodland Glen, various private residences, Cayman Technology Center, -5 Ice Bar, Shetty Hospital, Bateman Financial, Smoothie Factory, Cayman First Offices, Cricket Square, Willow House, Diner Martin, I think that's a law firm, Deloitte Data Suites, Karma Residential and Lounge, Karma Restaurant and Lounge, Carew Restaurant, One Capital Place, Millennium Place, Premier Wines and Spirits, and the list goes on and on and on. So this guy, Robert Duty, does the electrical work through this Power Plus company for all of these projects. And all now, he is still not paying money back in people's pension funds. Cayman's #1 jackass of probably the whole month. Shane says, oh, I think I missed the message here. Let's see. Joshua says, I got the Western Union transfer to work, but the problem that I'm having is that it will not work with my Butterfield MasterCard. It works with my Scotia card, but there's no money on that card. I did have to use a US address for it to work. Any idea why BOB cards will not work? That could be a security issue at BOB. Shane suggests you call and ask them to link your US address with your BOB card. Yeah, I mean, I had no issues with CNB debit card, not even a credit card at all. So yeah, I would maybe contact Butterfield, and see if they can help you out. It's probably a Butterfield issue more than anything else. And I feel you, because right now I was saying that Actually, with Scotiabank, I need to do some stuff with them this week. I have refused to go to the bank, like, since this whole thing has happened. Like, I have not been to the bank at all in over a month because I don't have 2 hours to stand in a line at CNB from 10 to 1 o'clock trying to get in. And I understand that a lot of people will be there until 12:30. And then all of a sudden they're told, oh, well, we're actually not going to take you again because now we have to start closing off and it takes hours to close off, et cetera, et cetera. So the banks need to open up another branch, if I had to be honest, or extend the hours. But even extending the hours, someone who works for a bank was saying to me that that's not the best idea because right now they're having so many people using them for transfers, money transfers and whatever. By the time that they close off, if they go in, they're still barely making it home for 7 o'clock curfew. So if they're open until, the normal 4 o'clock hours, they'll be going home at 9 o'clock at night. Anne says, can't government pay off arrears and then the debt be paid to government? Some of us are owed so much in support and the courts do nothing to follow through. Well, Anne, unfortunately, I think the position is government doesn't have the money to pay off anybody's arrears. Not only that, but government doesn't want bad debt because then government has to be chasing people. They chase people enough between all of these other things that, people don't pay when it comes to government bills and whatever. So, yeah, I'm not so sure that government would want to take that on, to be honest. And remember, somebody was saying to me yesterday, I'm going to take a break here in a second, and then we're going to bring Krista in. Someone was saying to me yesterday about government, I can't afford to pay my licensing. Is government going to give us a break on our licensing fees? I said to them, and I want to say this publicly, give me 1 second. One of my guests. So I said to the person, I said, we got to be fair to government right now. Because honestly, there's only so much that government can do in the financial department, knowing how small our economy is. We don't have unlimited funds. Just like you don't have unlimited personal funds in your account, neither does government. How does government make its money? Work permit fees, things like stamp duty, government import duties, application fees, and so on. For the past 5 years, government has waived a lot for small and micro businesses, a lot of the business application fees. Like you basically pay just the $75. You're not paying a licensing fee. That has been millions of dollars that government has lost. At some point, we need to realize that government does not have a bottomless bank account. So the more we pressure government, don't have us pay licensing fees, give us a blind on this, give us a blind on that. They just came out of a licensing amnesty. How many took advantage of that? A lot of people, because I remember them waiting until the last minute. So the question becomes, if we continue to say, government, give me this, give me this, give me this, where do you think government is getting it from? Government funds and supports NAU. Where do you think the money is coming from? Everybody's bitching and complaining about the cost of living in the Cayman Islands, the cost of fees, the cost of this. Where do you think the money comes from? It doesn't come out of thin air, and it's not free. So when you request these things of government, please keep in mind that government has to get that money from somewhere. That somewhere normally means me, you, and everybody. Cost of living. Tamika, who is the overseas over pension? At some point, there should be an audit. Well, that's a good question for Thursday evening, because we will ask about non-payment of pensions for the pension administrator that is coming. Basically, the way that the law has it is the pension administrator has a responsibility, as far as I recall, to report non-compliance to the Department of Labor and Pensions. Then it is the Department of Labor and Pensions' responsibility to follow through in terms of prosecution and try to get them to pay. However, I'm getting a little congested here. However, I do believe there's some issues with that. I need to definitely go blow my nose. Jason says we need more enforcement. A friend of mine went to CNB at 8 o'clock Tuesday, got through by 11:30. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm not standing in line for 3.5, 4 hours. If you need to pay my Digicel bill, how do I go about it? They're not open. I don't want to get cut off. So Lucianne, a couple of things you can do. You can pay online, as far as I know. With Digicel, you can call and actually they'll take a payment over the phone if you have a debit card or something like that. I think those may be your options right now, because obviously, I don't know if they're open, if their offices are open. I'll try to find out. Yes, always check your pension plan. Okay, let me take a break. I need to grab some tissue and blow my nose. Just got congested all of a sudden. And then we're going to bring in let us bring in KRISTA. And please stay tuned. I see 250 something of you are tuned in right now. We want to support local businesses who are doing the right thing, who are offering services that we can all benefit from. Oh, sorry, guys. Let me take a break. KRISTA, let's get ready. Someone says you can pay at the gas station for Digicel. Brown's ESO. There you go. Thank you very much. We need an enforcement team for pension payment that is rigid. I agree. I totally agree, Jason. And this is one of those perfect examples of why you want it in place. All right, folks, let's take a quick break. I'm going to queue up a commercial here. And then you can hear how I'm like all of a sudden congested. So let's queue up a few commercials here. Let's Eat is one of our corporate sponsors. So let's make sure that we support them. And we shall cue their video. And I'll be right back.
Cayman's restaurants have always been there for you. A place to get together with friends, to celebrate, to take a first date, or grab a meal between rugby and piano practice. And even though the tables are empty, some kitchens are still full, ready to feed you and your family while keeping you safe and making your meals as delicious as ever. They were there for you, now we can be there for them. While doors might be closed, kitchens are open for delivery. Let's eat. Cayman's restaurants have always been there for you. A place to get together with friends, to celebrate, to take a first date, or grab a meal between rugby and piano practice. And even though the tables are empty, some kitchens are still full, ready to feed you and your family while keeping you safe and making your meals as delicious as ever. They were there for you, now we can be there for them. While doors might be closed, kitchens are open for delivery. Let's eat.
All right, folks, thank you very much. Needed that little commercial break there to try to clear out my sinuses. Got my Huggies wipes here. Can I tell you something? Before I had kids, I never appreciated the flexibility and just so many ways in which you can use a wipe. I mean, it's kind of funny to think about it, but I absolutely now love wipes. And I'm like, why did I not walk around with wipes in my bag and on my person all the time before I had a baby? I never really did. But after I had a baby, I sure enough, you know, I have wipes everywhere. And that's why I buy them by the caseload, so that I can use them. So KRISTA is joining us. Let me bring her in the studio here. KRISTA, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
How are you
so
doing?
much. I'm good, girl. So KRISTA has a company called Eating Clean. KRISTA, I have my food here. I've not yet dived in to it because I wanted to bring you on air first.
Okay.
So first of all, KRISTA's going to tell us a little bit about how she got started in this business and, what she has to offer. I received my food delivery. This is my first time, and it's a meal prep service. And so this is my first time receiving food from KRISTA, and I'm excited to try it, KRISTA. I got to tell you. First of all, I'm hungry this morning, so perfect timing. And it was nice and warm when I got it. It was in a nice bag that was temperature controlled, nice and warm. And so it comes in a little container, and KRISTA can tell us a little bit about, I think right now she's doing different things in terms of her packaging, but this food looks delicious. So I wanted plantain wraps, but I ordered late. So KRISTA's going to tell you about her menu options and so on. So what I have here instead are some potatoes that are stuffed with, remind me what this is stuffed with, KRISTA.
It's stuffed with egg, turkey sausage, green peppers and onions, and topped with a little bit of cheese.
Ooh la la. So that one looks good. So I've got that one. And I also have another one here. And what's the second dish?
The second dish you got a curry cabbage with turmeric rice.
Wow.
Now, the curry cabbage, we don't usually serve it with turmeric rice, but I wanted you to try the turmeric rice. Okay. So we normally serve it with white rice or quinoa.
So am I supposed to be having one for lunch and one for breakfast? Was that the idea today?
That's the idea.
Okay. All right. So let's start at the very beginning, KRISTA. For people who do not know you, please tell us what your name is, darling.
Okay. Well, my name is KRISTA Brown, as you keep mentioning. I really go by KRISTA Bradshaw, but most people know me as KRISTA Brown because that's my maiden name. Okay. I'm Caymanian. I'm originally from West Bay. Well, I was born in town, but my family migrated to West Bay, so I consider myself a West Bayer.
Okay, very good.
Yes, I'm a mother of 7. I've got 4 boys and 3 girls. Well, I'm more a mother of 8 because I have a 5-year-old that basically adopted. So, and she makes sure she reminds me that I have 8 kids and she's my baby. She's number 8. And she, yeah. So even if I didn't want to have 8, she made it clear it's 8. So mother of 8, my eldest is 31. And as I said, my youngest biological child is going to be 18 in July.
Wow.
And of course, my baby is 5. So I got on this journey because in 2016, I woke up and I was basically overweight, like I was obese. Not even overweight, but obese. Had a mild heart attack, borderline hypertension, have heart disease, and was majorly depressed. When it came on to my heart condition, they wanted to put me on blood thinners and all sorts of other things that I would have to take in order to deal with my heart issues.
Now, when you say how old were you, KRISTA, at the time?
When I had the heart attack?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 40. I'm going to be 47 on Saturday.
Okay. Happy birthday in
Yes.
advance.
Thank you. But I was 44.
Wow. Yeah.
44. Yeah. So I was like, I was just borderline 42. I was 42 when I started to pay attention that something was wrong. But when I got to the stage where I definitely needed to do something, pay attention and get up and do something, it was just after, it was just before my 44th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're 44, 43 years old.
Yeah.
I noticed how initially you said you were overweight, and then you said, you know what? Nope, straight up, it was obesity.
It was obesity.
A lot of us are obese, and we
Yep.
say, oh, I'm just carrying a few extra pounds. I'm just a little chunky. You know, yeah, I'm a little chubby. Like, we don't want to admit and use words like I am obese.
Yes. And that's very common, not just in the Caribbean. I think it's very common amongst the Black community. We don't accept that we're obese.
Yes.
But I'll be honest, the BMI chart that is out there isn't really for us, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, yeah, most of us are obese. Yeah. A lot of us are obese that refer to us, a lot of us are obese that refer to ourselves as overweight.
Chunky
or chunky.
What were some of the symptoms that you were having?
Walking up the stairs, and by the time I'm at the top of the stairs, I'm out of breath as if I just ran a marathon. Or walking with my kids. So all of my kids were athletes. So it wasn't that I didn't know how to feed them or cook, stuff like that. It's just that when it came on to me, I was too busy. I was too busy. And life catches up with you, where you're so caught up with all the different things in life that a lot of times, especially women, we tend to not take care of ourselves. We don't pay attention to ourselves. We pay attention to ourselves when things get ugly, or when the doctor says, or when something dramatic happens. For me, it was dramatic because I don't like meds. I don't like modern day medicine, to be honest with you. I fear it maybe more than I should, but I've always been someone who prefer natural herbs. So even with my kids, if they had the fever, I wouldn't give them Panadol. I would give them fever grass or give them some form of herb. With most of my kids, after their 6-week checkup, I wouldn't even take them to be immunized. I would give them natural herbs. So I've always been into natural herbs.
So here you are, almost 44. Something is definitely wrong. You have serious health issues. How did you know that? Tell us a little bit about the heart attack incident. Like, how did you know?
Okay, so
a heart attack, really?
I was at work, and I had a severe pain in my chest, and I have asthma. And I just thought it was a really bad asthma attack. And I was taken to the hospital. My best friend, Teresa, she took me to the hospital. I was nebulized that day, went home, and then was in severe pain and went back to the hospital that evening. And the doctor said, "You've had a mild heart attack."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to be honest with you, by this point, if I was to say that I paid attention then, I would tell you a lie. I didn't pay attention then. I think it was being in I became really depressed. I remember locking myself in my room for about really 2 or 3 days, not really talk to anybody for about 2 or 3 days, not much talking, and I did a lot of crying.
So when this happened to you, what did the doctors prescribe? Like, what did they tell you? Okay, you just had a heart attack. What do you go away and do? What lifestyle changes do you make? Like, what was their advice?
Well, one of the things the doctor said to me, he did tell me that he says, you know, that you do have a weight issue. And if you lost your weight, things would be better. I already was in that frame of mind, but not there to the point of being convicted. Because one, in the Caribbean, especially if you're married to a lot of Jamaican men like their women voluptuous. So, you know, there's a part of you that is confident with being, you see yourself as being voluptuous versus being obese. So some of the issues that occur, you don't see it as, wait a minute, if you change your lifestyle, some of this stuff will go away. You just see it as, oh, it's a situation, I'm gonna deal with it and then move on to the next thing until something else happens. I think what really took it home for me was after the few days of locking myself in the room, and one day I just went into the bathroom, and I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, okay, so you're dying. You're dying. What are you going to do? You're dying.
Wow.
You got 7 kids to live for. Is this the way you're going to do it? You know all the things. You know what to do. Whether you want to face it, yes or no, KRISTA, you're dying. You're dying. Wow. And then I said,
that's
okay.
a tough conversation to have with yourself at 44.
Yeah, it is. But it was the truth. I was dying. I might not look like I was dying on the outside to someone, but when you think about all that was happening to me, including the depression, I was dying. Constant asthma attacks. You know, even though I love to go walking and working out, I couldn't do it. I just wasn't there. I was dying, and I just needed to face the fact that I was dying. So at the time, I was in South Carolina, and I came home. And before I came home, I started the transition. I started to work out more. I started walking. I actually made it a thing where the kids and I would go walking at some point in the day. So then I came back to Cayman, and I started to say, well, I need to not just make it be that it was a thing for the moment, because I had a realization. Whatever junk food I had in the house at the time, I got rid of it. And I said to my husband, things are going to be different. As a matter of fact, I started to make changes before him and I had a conversation. I remember I love Excelsior crackers and I love saltines. And I threw them out. And my husband's like, what's going on? I said, things are going to be different. Then I started to do research I realized that if I had food cooked and ready, I was a lot easier for me to stay on the path that I was going on. And then there are days that if I didn't have food, if I went on the road, if I was on the road too long, I was so excessively hungry that I would eat whatever. So then I started to get really much more curious. I started to do research about food and what to do and how to make food my medicine. At the time, I didn't even have that term. I just know that I wanted things to be different, and I wanted the information. Then I found out about meal prepping, and I was like, whoa, this looks good. This is a good idea to prep my meals, because I myself realized that if I had the food already cooked and in the house, I was better off than when I had to decide to come home and prep the food. So then I started to do research about food and just totally fell in love with food, but in a different way. So then I decided I wanted to learn more. So I even joined the World Chef Academy in order to literally become a chef. And then I joined NAM so that I could become a nutritional coach. I became really obsessed with, because then I started to lose weight. I started to walk on the beach with my husband, and my husband is a gym crazy person anyway. So and he was really good with encouraging me. Like, we started walking on the beach and the pounds started to drop, and then it got to the stage where the beach wasn't enough, and I realized I had more energy, and I my asthma attacks weren't as much as they used to be, till it was a case where I wasn't having the asthma attacks anymore. And instead of walking 5 miles, I was able to walk, instead of walking just 5 minutes, and I was able to walk an hour. And at one point I was doing Calroy's reggae aerobics class. Reggae aerobics class, and loved it. And then it got to the stage where I could be doing a class with Calroy at the gym for like 2-3 hours, and it felt like I didn't do anything. So then my husband said, well, maybe we should, he said, somebody told me about the stairs at Cayman Bay. Let's try the stairs at Cayman Bay. And I said, okay. First time I did the first set of stairs to climb the tower, I did 2, and then I couldn't handle it. So then I started going every morning, and I realized, 10 was like nothing, till first I was walking it, then I found out I was able to jog it. And all of this was just from natural changes, no diet pills. I was not on a diet, because diet just don't work for me. Tried them over the years, don't work. It was all about changing my lifestyle. I kept the junk food out of the house. When I found out about meal prepping, and I was telling my husband about the meal prepping, he thought it was a good idea. I went out and I bought containers, and on Saturday I would cook food and share them all out in containers and throw them in the fridge. So our fridge was loaded with these red top containers. And my husband loved it too, because when he came in from work, he's a police officer. So his shift was really weird. So sometimes he's coming in from work late night and he's hungry. And so then we got into spinaches, and we got into juicing, and so we would do stuff like evening time. If we were going to eat after 7, we would do meat and veg. Then in the midst of all of that, because I'm changing my diet, I'm eating more nuts, I'm eating more of certain things, I found out I was allergic to nuts. So I had to leave nuts alone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And in the midst of doing my transformation, right?
You weren't really
Turns out
nuts before all of this?
I'm not as often. Like, nuts was not a big thing. But as you do the research and you see the different things that is good to have a part of your diet, and you start putting them in, then you just, so now all of a sudden I was eating more nuts, and different nuts, and trying to find the nuts that I like, different things like that. And then I discovered, like, one day, I can't remember, I think it was almonds, because I fell in love with almonds. And my hair was itching, and I was just itching all over. And then I realized every time I ate nuts, I realized that. And then I went to the hospital and discovered, yep, you're allergic to nuts. Then I, after a while, after about a year into, then I realized I was allergic to animal protein. So I'm allergic to eggs, and I'm allergic to meat.
Wow.
Yes. Animal protein. I'm allergic to animal protein. So then I have to start doing research about being more vegetarian and vegan. And I have no objections to people who choose to eat meat, for each their own. So then I got into that. Then it was a case where people started to see me lose the weight, and I wasn't looking dragged, because I was remember when I started this journey, I was almost 300 pounds. And then people just started to notice that every time they saw me, I looked smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then people kept asking, so what are you doing? And I said, change my lifestyle. What do you mean? Like, and I would have conversations with them, and they said, could you help me? And then I would send them some messages and keep them updated on stuff that I would be doing. And then that person would say, hey, listen, do you mind talking to this person? Because they saw that I'm doing it, what you're saying, and they see changes, and they're interested. They want you to help. Then I started going to the gym. I started going to World Gym. And by this time, I've decided I wanted to be more active in regards to the workouts that I was doing outside of just doing the stairs. Because now I was addicted to the stairs and was doing them every morning. Um, then I went to the gym. And one day I went to the gym and I bumped into Roderick Evans. And Roderick and I are classmates and awesome friend. And I said, "Oh, Roderick, oh God, you look awesome. Like, what are you doing here?" He said, "I teach here." I was like, "What do you teach?" He says, "CrossFit." And I had already started to do some research about calisthenics and knew about CrossFit and had actually done a CrossFit class before, trying to figure out something that would make me feel more challenged. And I said, "No, I'm too fat for CrossFit." Like, and I looked outside his class and I said, like, everybody in there is just, he says, "Girl, come, you try it. You're going to like it. I promise you, give me 1 week." So I did it 1 week, loved it, won't turn back.
Give us an idea, Krista, before this transformation, because it sounds like it was amazing.
It was amazing.
That you really got into it. But before this transformation, what were you doing for exercise, if anything at all? Like, what was your physical activity like before?
Not much. Not much. Every now and then, walking.
Yeah.
Walking. Yeah.
Okay. So you were doing some walking and stuff before the heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah, but not consistent and not. People think that you could working out is the key. Working out is actually not the key. 95% of the whole thing about being healthier is your food, right?
Right.
It's your food and your mind.
To your body.
Really. Yeah. So overall health consists of body, mind, and spirit. For me, that's how I see overall health. And so my mind wasn't there. I knew that exercise was a thing and I loved it. So, and with all of my kids being athletes, then, it was a thing. It was a part of our family, kind of a thing. So it was a thing. Yeah. But really overall, I wasn't doing much.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing much. I didn't really get into the whole being consistent with working out until I woke up, had that epiphany. Hey, Krista, you need to do something.
Yeah. All right. So if you're just joining us, I know sometimes people pop in and out of the conversation. I see Nikisha has just popped in, I think. Good morning. We're talking to Krista Brown, who is here with us this morning talking about her Eating Clean business and how it got started really through a personal transformation of her own. Now, Krista does meal prep, and she delivered some food to me this morning, which I'm going to now delve into and try. So it's 9:30. I haven't had anything to eat yet. I've been drinking just water for the morning. And, all of what you're saying in terms of meal preparation, cooking meals at home if you can, those things are very, very important, because when you cook your food, folks, you know what you're putting in it. So you can control whether you're going to add a little tips of butter or no butter at all, how much seasoning you're going to put in, if you're not going to use any sodium, but use other spices, which a lot of times I find that you don't need sodium per se. There's so many spices that you can throw in there that when you taste it, you thought that you had salt in it, but you really don't. How much cheese you're going to add, how much. I mean, there's so many, and this is a long haul conversation. Krista will be joining us on a monthly basis, telling us about different tips that we can employ in our own lives and how she has managed to lose. What was your original weight loss amount, Krista? How much did you go?
108.
108 pounds. Wow. That's like a whole person.
Yeah, because I've had people that say to me, "Where's the rest of you?" I said, "I left her behind."
That is a whole person. So Krista has embarked on this personal journey because she was having health issues, and as a result, now she's doing meal prep as a business. And
you know what? The funniest thing is I used to give the food away because then I ended up with a WhatsApp group called Caribbean Eating Healthy because of how many people were asking. So I said, you know what? Let me just form a group. And I formed a group, and all the different people that I had, I just put them in the group, and other people joined. And I would show them pictures of me doing the meal prep and all the different things that I would make from scratch. Like we use a vegan mayonnaise if we're going to use anything to do with mayo, and we make them in-house.
Okay,
We
well,
make them in-house.
let me take a first bite. So this is going to be.
Okay.
Now I know there's some people out there who have a fetish, I think, about watching people eat food, because one of the really popular shows was the one where I went to the local canteen. I think it was John Gray, and I had a canteen meal, and everybody was like, "Oh, can you go to all the different schools?" And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I've tapped into something very different where people want to see me eating on camera. So the first one I'm going to try is the potato one. So KRISTA does a daily menu, so you can check out her website. KRISTA, give us the website address. I'm actually going to put it in the little.
It's www.eatingklean.com, and it's clean spelled with a K.
Yes. So I'm going to put this up on KRISTA on the, so you can see it on the screen here. But basically, she has daily set menus that then you can choose from a variety of different options.
So we have the daily menu, and we recently, what we did because of the whole situation, you know, a lot of people think that eating healthy has to be very costly. And we don't realize that some of the stuff, if you notice, even the menu that I have up now, it has like a lot of cabbage on it. And people don't realize that you could do so much with cabbage. Like, we have a curry cabbage, we have a sweet and sour cabbage, and we also have a jerk cabbage. And the flavors are so like popping. So people don't realize, and cabbage is one of those vegetables that really has no calories. The calories that end up in cabbage is because of the things that we add to it when we cook it. So it's one of the vegetables that you can play with tremendously because it starts basically at 0.
Right.
It's not totally 0, but it is so low that you could say it's starting at 0.
Yeah.
So it's one of those vegetables that you cook that is filling, that you can cook that's filling, and you can change up the flavor. We also have a stuffed cabbage where we stuff the cabbage with, we have 2 where you stuff it with beans and cheese, or you've got the one where we stuff it with cheese, rice, beans, and then we top it with some tomato sauce. And the tomato sauce is made with fresh tomatoes. So yeah, there's so much that you could do. And what I try to concentrate on is the things that we like to eat as Caribbean people. So like, we love fried chicken, and on our menu we have an oven fried chicken that, so it's not, there's no oil, there's no egg. And I've had customers who says that they can't tell that it has not been fried in oil, other than the fact that it's not oily. So yeah, so
let me take a
let's
little
hear what
here.
you've got to say about what you've got.
Yeah, so I did want the plantain, but like I'm telling people, you got to order and think ahead when it comes to even KRISTA's meal prep services, because she's got
because we're and we're not a restaurant. So we're a meal prep service. So you order in advance, and we prepare according to the orders that we have. And even with our daily menu, what we do is that we only prepare a certain amount per day. And so when that's finished, we're done.
Right. So this is a regular potato?
Yeah, it's a regular potato.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if you'd give me like a sweet potato or
no, just a regular Irish potato, golden Irish potato.
I've got eggs, and what was the meat again?
Turkey sausage.
Turkey sausage with I've got red bell peppers in here, and this is actually really good. I mean, it's not warm anymore because it's been sitting on my desk since I've been doing the show, but it's good. So I got 2 pieces here. Tell us about portion control, because as Caribbean people, we like to eat a lot of food.
Yes. So what we tend to do, like if you look at your plate with your cabbage and your turmeric rice, you'll notice that you have more cabbage than you have rice.
Right.
So when it comes on to our dishes, that especially for our vegetarian and our vegans, well, for people on a whole, we will give you more veg. We'll give you more veg and less starch. Unless we have clients that we work with that is looking for specifics, somebody who is constantly in the gym, who's looking for the food to be a specific ounceage, or they want specific combinations because of the goal that they're working on. We do that. as well. So we work with clients according to their goals and their needs, or if not, they're working with our portions. We try to keep our calories to be no more than 700 calories. Most of our plates is in between 500 to 700 calories per plate.
Okay. I was just showing people, sorry, on the screen exactly what the food looks like. I'm having some more potatoes because it's really good, actually. And then, delicious. I'm going to try some.
So go ahead and try that curry cabbage, girl. Let's hear what's going on with that curry.
I've not had curry cabbage before. I like cabbage. I mean, I'm not a person that has an issue with cabbage. Like when I do steamed fish, I like to do the cabbage versus like sometimes even the okra option.
Mm-hmm.
So in this plate, you've given me cabbage, and the rice is, what did you call the rice again? Sorry.
Turmeric.
Turmeric rice.
Mm-hmm.
And turmeric is one of those things that's good for a lot of different things.
Yes, it is.
So I'm gonna have.
And that's the other thing that we do, is that we do not do a lot of powdered seasoning. We do mainly sea salt. We don't do a lot of oils either. We tend to stick to olive oil and coconut oil, and the coconut oil that we use is made in-house.
Okay.
So we try to stay away from processed foods. Like even tofu that is on our menu, the tofu is made in-house from chickpea. So we try to stick to doing things as natural as possible. And because we don't use a lot of powders, then you'll find out that you'll find a lot of onion, a lot of cilantro, parsley, even the seasonings that is not commonly used in the Caribbean is present to our meals, because we try to use a lot of natural spices and stay away from the powdered spices.
Okay.
So, and especially spices that has that is high in sodium, we don't use them at all. So if we're going to use a spice that we're not able to figure out the combination to make it in-house, by buying the natural seeds and blending them together in order to make our powder ourselves, then we will tend to look for something that is sodium free. But 95% of the time, I just refuse to use the processed seasonings. I prefer all of the
Zenoya has me cracking up. She said, I can tell that the food is good because Sandy's not easing up. Healthy and tasty. Now, the cabbage has a bit of a kick to it.
Yes, because it's a little spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Because curry is predominantly spicy. Yeah. So if you get curry chicken, you want it a little spicy, or curry goat or whatever. Same thing with curry cabbage.
Yes, girl. Zenoya, it's good.
Yeah, you were supposed to be eating breakfast. You were only supposed to taste the curry cabbage, Sandy.
Listen, you can eat cabbage any day, any time of the day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
And so I can't imagine myself totally eating that as a meal. No meat. One of the things that I personally want to do is I do want to reduce the amount of meat that I'm taking in, whether it's chicken, turkey, whatever. So even one meal a day, having absolutely no meat, or doing like a meat-free day every week.
Yeah. Yes, I do have clients who do that, who they're not vegetarian, but they'll do a meat-free day once a week.
I think that's a good idea. So I'm going to go back to my potato. And
yes, and I do have the clients who are like you that cannot imagine a meal without meat.
Yeah. I mean, I can do it, but you know, again, the Caribbean diet, you like grab something real quick and it's like always meat.
Yep. 100.
So, yeah. So this is good. All right. A lot of people saying that they can see me licking my chops and they're like, that must be good. Yes, people. It is delicious.
I'm glad you like it.
So KRISTA went through this personal transformation, losing over 100 pounds. And then she started to realize that other people were asking her for help and they needed help.
Actually, you know what? It turning into a business was actually somebody that I was feeding. And one day she WhatsApped me and says, Chris, you're not gonna food her. I said, girl, you're gonna make me go broke. You need to help me with this. She says, girl, I'll pay you for it. I'm like, what? And then other people in the group were saying, I'll pay you for it.
Yeah.
And so so then I was like, I should do a business.
Yes.
Then
And
I started to
that's how the idea
research
was
and
born.
realize that meal prepping service was becoming this new trend in the US. And I was like, whoa. And I said, we don't have that over this side. So I said, yeah, let me try it.
I love it.
And then we launched in October of 2018.
Nice.
Yes.
Folks, I'm still eating my potato. Louis likes the idea.
Yeah, people, and the thing is that a lot of people think eating healthy has to be boring. It does not have to be boring, number one, and it doesn't mean that the food is going to be bland.
No.
Usually people think, when people think of healthy eating, people think, oh, boring, bland food, right? And when people think of lifestyle change, they're thinking, just change everything. I would tell anybody, if you're going to do a lifestyle change when it comes onto your food, do not go cold turkey. Take it a step at a time. If you usually eat 2 cups of rice, each 1 cup of rice. If you don't usually eat vegetables, then try to experiment with that vegetable and figure out that vegetable that you like, right? And decrease the amount of starch and put some veg in there. And the next minute you know you're doing that, even if it's to do it to 1 meal a day, you will see a difference. If you usually eat a lot of cheese, a lot of fried foods, all of that, if you do 1 meal change every day for a week, you will see the difference just with 1 meal change.
Yeah.
Right. And the meal change could be some, and the moment, what will inspire a lot of people is that the moment you do that one change, you're like, but wait a minute, I can do this. Let me try something else that is simple. Instead of me eating 3 chocolate bars a day, let me only eat 2. Right. And I don't usually drink any water. Instead of me drinking 5 cans of soda, let me do 4 cans of soda and 1 bottle of water.
Small changes add up.
Just little changes, and they add up. And you know what? When you start to feel the change in yourself, that's when you're just totally inspired on your own, that you'll make the changes and not even realize it because it's so gradual. Yeah. But if you get up and you say, okay, I'm going to get rid of all the junk food out of my house and I am going to go buy a bunch of vegetables. If you do, some people, you do it cold turkey, you last 2 weeks, you last a month, and then all of a sudden you're craving KFC.
Right.
And you're there. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody that because I'm on my journey, I don't have fries. I love fries. Oh my God. I'm even having a problem sometimes with staying away from chicken because I love chicken.
Okay.
But I'm allergic to it. You know, so I'm not telling anybody that it's like you get up and all of a sudden you're totally perfect at it. And once you start your journey, it means that if you do something, oh my God, you know, this is it. And that's just such a bad concept. Yeah. If you've had a bad meal, you don't have to have a bad day. If you've had a bad day, you do not need to have a bad week.
So Mark says, Sandy, first time you're speechless. Breathe while chewing. Mark, try and behave yourself. Come out of big people conversation about me being speechless.
That's too funny.
Jan wants to know, what would you recommend instead of cabbage if someone's allergic to cabbage?
You've got bok choy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good with taking flavor. It cooks a lot quicker than cabbage.
Yes.
So basically, if you're gonna, let's just say that you decided you wanted to curry your bok choy, you would have to literally, that was cooked with vegetable broth instead of oil or butter. Right? Okay. So let's just say that you were going to use the vegetable broth, or you're going to use your oil or your butter. You would want to season that by the time you put in the bok choy, because within 2 to 3 minutes of having your bok choy in there, it's soggy. It's done. Right? So you'd want to do your onions, your bell pepper, whatever it is, all the spices you like, whether it's your oil or your vegetable broth, season that with the curry and everything, do all of the seasoning, then drop it in there and add a little bit of salt and black pepper, and boom, you're done.
Nice.
And
So
it will be
Tamika
loaded with flavor.
says that meal prep is big in the US. Glad to know it's one here, and you will get my business. Thank
Awesome.
you, Tamika. Check out her website, eatingklean.com, clean with a K. Shane says meal prep is also big in London.
It
Shane,
is, because
Shane,
I
are
actually
you
had
in
a client
London?
that was here for 3 weeks from
Mhm.
Australia. And she was here at one of the law firms. And so she got all 3 of her meals and 2 of her snacks for the day from us. And she was like, I just love the flavoring. It's loaded with flavor. There's literally no salt. I'm just tasting all of these spices. She said some of these spices I don't think I've ever noticed their flavors before.
Mm.
So
And you know, the
yeah,
interesting thing about cabbage is cabbage kind of makes me think of, I'm trying to think what else is very much like this. Like it takes up, like tofu is like this as well. It
yeah,
takes up whatever flavor you season it with.
yes,
So you
yes.
can like the curry cabbage is a great example of this, but you can do so many different
You,
creative things with
yes,
cabbage.
you can.
You
Yes,
know,
you
you
can.
add
And
any kind of seasoning or flavor, and it's
exactly. And one of the reasons why I really got into experimenting with cabbage, I had a few clients that were like, I have a big family. I can't afford your service. So I normally give people tips for free when they WhatsApp the Eating Clean phone. And I've had I have had people who have reached out to me who says, I want to be healthier, but my family is big and my budget is small. And girl, I can help you to eat. I can help you to eat healthy on a budget. Do you eat cabbage? Do you like bok choy? You like rice? I can help you. I can help you. You eat chicken. It doesn't have to be chicken breast. I can help you to eat it. Do you like ground turkey? You ground beef? I can help you to eat on a budget. So people think when people hear eating healthy, they think I'm breaking the bank. Give
right.
me the budget that you have and the groceries that you like to use now, and I can tell you how to turn it into a healthy meal.
Wow. Trenwick says that I should check out the Forks Over Knives cookbook and also intermittent fasting. I know intermittent fasting. I don't know, Krista, have you ever tried it? A lot of people are into the intermittent fasting thing right now, where basically, I mean, we can do a whole other show on intermittent fasting because it's a very
Oh yes,
interesting
we could.
idea.
It basically
And just to
recalibrates the
kind
body.
of, yeah, and just to kind of prep our viewers for what's coming, like I said, Krista's going to be joining us at least once a month. And we're going to do a lot of interesting things with Krista. She's a chef, and obviously she has her meal prep business. She's in contact with other people in the industry. So sometimes we're going to have them join us as guests here on the program. And so there's going to be a lot of exciting collaboration going on with Krista, and we're happy to be able to bring her message to the masses. So Melissa wants to know, what about Callaloo? And I was going to ask her, what about it? It's a great
because even our stuffed plantain, we stuff it either with callaloo, ackee, or beans. So callaloo is listen, with my green juice, I use callaloo. Green juice is commonly known that it's used that you use spinach and kale. But I use callaloo in my green juice instead of spinach and kale because the enzymes that is in callaloo surpasses spinach and kale combined together.
Wow.
So callaloo is a great green leafy vegetable that is very awesome.
Versatile. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tamika's all here for it. Look like she's already hitting the website up. She says the website is laid out and very informational. I was able to link her from a website and WhatsApp. I'm so excited about this information. And I do actually like the website. It is easy to navigate. It talks about how today, again, is Earth Day as well. So Krista talks about, their recycling and how they package their foods. They use BPA-free containers that are microwavable, freezer safe, recyclable versus foam. They don't get into foam and aluminum and whatever.
No, we don't.
They were reusing these, but I
But we're
think now
not.
with COVID-19, you're taking additional
Yeah.
precautions
Yeah.
to keep people
Yes.
safe.
And some of the containers that we're using now are even paper versus yeah, but we do encourage, because originally our original packaging that you got this morning, we usually so the way the service works is we deliver to you your meal, let's say at your office, and you get that that bag that you got it in this morning, and the next time you place an order, or your next order, because usually the minimum order is 3 meals before we started the daily menu. And so you ordered your meals, and if you want them delivered day after day, then then the delivery driver collects the empty container with the bag and give you a new bag with your food. If we deliver to your house, like I have clients that will order like 80 meals for the month, but they want them all one time, we vacuum seal them if they want them vacuum sealed, because sometimes they're ordering 80 meals, but it's for the family, right? So it goes fast. So, but if it's 80 meals and it's for one person, then it would be vacuum sealed, and you could put those in the freezer and they could last up to 45 days.
Okay. What's your phone number, Krista? Because people are already asking for your phone number, girl.
It's 328-8655.
8655. I'm going to put this on the screen as well, folks. There you go. There's that.
Yeah. So and so the containers, that's how we normally make the service normally work. But currently what we're doing is that we're not using those bags. We're using regular bags, which I'm not very happy with, because I'm all about preserving the environment. And that was the reason why I did my service where we did the reusable bags and take them back versus giving out disposables. But with what the situation is that we're having right now at hand, then it's not safe for us to be doing the interchange with bags. So that's why we're not using the bags. I just gave you the bag.
Okay, so I've got that bag. I can hang on to that.
Yes, you can hang on. Yeah, I don't want it back.
We'll keep my food nice and warm.
Yeah, I don't want the bag. I wouldn't touch it.
I know. Well, we're talking about this morning some of the ways in which our lives have changed, and some of these changes will be permanent changes.
I think
so. Some of them will be for the time being until we can kind of get this COVID-19 situation under control. But there's so many things that you can do. I was just having a look here about rice cabbage.
Yes,
again, you can substitute instead of having rice.
And there's a way, and the way how you do the cabbage in order for it to have that rice look, and how to cook it so that it has a similar texture. Yeah, we do that too. We do the rice cabbage. You do even the sweet potato rice, cauliflower rice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all into it. You guys know I love my belly. I love food. And yes, I actually, speaking of being obese, I need to lose at least 50 pounds for sure. So, folks, here on the Cold Hard Truth, we're talking to Ricardo, who hopefully we're going to have on soon. We've been talking to Tristan. We've been talking to Carla. So we've got people on the exercise and fitness side of things as well who will be.
Yes, and you got to get Rogic on here.
Yes, I haven't reached out to him as yet, but I do have him on Facebook. Yeah. So we'll talk to.
I'm gonna send him a message when I'm through. You got to get school. You got to get School of Fitness in here. You got to get School of Fitness.
Right. Send him my number.
I will.
Like I said, there are those of us who definitely need to start at a little bit slower before we're ready for.
And Roderick. The amazing thing about Roderick is that Roderick had a phase that he actually got fat.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like where you see Roderick now is after fat. Yeah. So he could definitely talk about the fact that you could, as a male, or male or female, but as a guy, he could be saying, "Hey, listen, I had a beer belly, and now I don't."
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I must have missed that phase at Roger, because every time I see him, he looks buff to me. He looks fit and fabulous.
He does. He does.
So folks,
And he's crazy. If you visit his Instagram page, you see some crazy stuff that he does.
Okay, so he really takes it to the next level.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I had the potato. That was breakfast. And I'm going to save the rest of the cabbage and the rice for lunchtime. And this is good. And I'm going to try the cabbage is a little, like I said, has a little bit of a kick to it. So I don't think my 3-year-old is going to be into that because she's not really into spices too much yet.
Right.
But I'm going to let Marlon try it out because I think he might like it. And then, yeah, I want to try out some more of these meals for sure. So I'm going to be taking advantage of KRISTA's services. You know, I'm really busy. I love to cook. I'm not going to say I'm probably the world's healthiest chef, but I do love to cook, and I can throw down some real good meals that when you eat, you're like, oh my God, this is off the chain good. But a lot of times I just don't have the time. So it's like a time factor. So that's where KRISTA comes in and where her service is perfect, Eating Clean. You can give them a call at 328-8655, email info@eatingclean.com. And of course, visit eatingclean.com. And yeah, KRISTA can hook you up with as many or as few meals as you need from her service. You can customize it. She's got set menu options for the day. If you visit the website, it has all the things for like breakfast. If you want to do vegetarian meals, soup and salad, juices. If you're into the keto diet, there's an option there for the daily menu. And she does a little bit of everything: cauliflower stir fry, cheesy bacon chicken breast, egg, spinach, and bacon breakfast. I mean, there's stuff there for everyone.
Yes.
And again, KRISTA tries to make her all of her ingredients in-house as much as possible. So she spends a lot of time at the grocery store looking for these fresh bits and pieces to be able to put your meals together. So you gotta make sure that you order early. She'll deliver. There's no Sunday deliveries, which right now we're kind of on a bit of a lockdown on Sundays, but you know, order it from Saturday and stick it in the fridge, and then all you got to do is warm it up.
Yep.
You're good to go.
Yep.
So today is Wednesday. Let me just have a quick look at what's on the menu for today. So we had the stuffed plantain boat, which is what I really wanted, but I waited too late. So they had run out. And you get your choice of what she can stuff that with again. She's got beans, callaloo, or ackee. I'm looking forward to that. So put me on the list for next week.
Okay.
I want to try it with the ackee because I'm thinking that with ackee has got to be really good.
Yeah, it is.
She's got chia seeds, banana breakfast pudding. That sounds pretty good. I wonder if Gianna might like that. That sounds like something she might be into. Puddings. Babies love puddings. Oven fried chicken. And I love a good oven fried chicken. This one is done with no egg, no flour, and no frying. Now, I've done oven fried chicken, but I have used egg. So I want to try this one. This one sounds super, super healthy. Then cornflake
you could do it without the egg.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the crumbs, like getting the crumbs right is actually the key to to fried eggs. And I love how you've taken the time to do like photos of foods and stuff, and it all looks again super, super delicious. And of course, I have here the curry cabbage with the rice, turmeric, and that is absolutely delicious. And so I'll finish that off for lunch. And then she also has on the Wednesday menu baked legs and thighs. So you can choose that with curry cabbage as well. I love it. Absolutely love it. KRISTA, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So if you guys want to get in contact with KRISTA, her information is scrolling across the screen. Yes. Please reach out to KRISTA. And just a reminder that tomorrow we will have some other guests on the program who's going to be telling us about a bit of a nightmare situation they've had trying to get back to Canada. So we've got Michelle. I'd like to order something right now. Well, girl, get on it. Message KRISTA. You got the number. You got the email address. She's waiting to hear from you guys. So listen, there will be a lot of businesses, in my opinion, during this time that will thrive and that will do very, very well because the types of services that they offer is something that people need and they want to utilize. And I think that Krista's business, Eating Clean, is one of those businesses. It's a perfect idea, whether you're working from home, you're working from an office, everybody's still super, super busy. And Krista's able to prep your meals and to get these ready for you. And again, you can pre-order for the week and just have everything labeled. And, Monday, I'm going to have this for lunch. And the whole concept, I mean, I've met with nutritionists before, and every single nutritionist will tell you that meal prepping, and this is with anything in life, preparing, having your plan will allow you to avoid a lot of the pitfalls that come with making poor decisions with your diet. So you guys know how it is. The worst time to go to the grocery store, and I've done this so many times, I can't even begin to tell you. When you're super hungry and you go to the grocery store, you make the worst choices in terms of nutrient choices. So you're going to pick up the quick stuff. Oh my gosh, the donuts look good. The chips look good. You pick up all the junk food because you're just hungry and your brain is just thinking sugar, carbs, feed me now. I'm stressed out. I just need to eat. But planning your meals, eating in advance of going grocery shopping is always a good idea. You're able to make a lot better choices. And it's not about, I'm going to be eating clean 24/7. I may have 2 of my 3 meals I'm eating clean. And then that one meal, I have a little bit more fat in it, whatever. Moderation is often the key as well. Like Krista said, she didn't, make 180-degree change overnight. It was small incremental changes. Okay, let me throw out the junk food. Let me improve on the diet. Let me start adding, these types of ingredients. Let me do more cabbage. Now I see that I have an issue with nuts and meat. So let me kind of get rid of that from my diet. And let me start exercising. So I'm going to step up the walking. So instead of 5 minutes, I'm up to 5 miles. And then I go from that to, going to aerobics classes, doing the gym, doing the stairs with my husband. So there's lots of changes I think that we can all make, small changes that will go a long way to changing the outcome of our health prognosis. As Caribbean people, we have one of the worst diets in the world. As people of color, we are more likely to die from lifestyle choice types of diseases, diabetes, hypertension, obesity itself carries a whole lot of illnesses that come with that. And those are the things that we can change. We can make very small, meaningful changes to our lives to really help along the way. Everybody wants to look good, but few of us are willing to put in the hard work to kind of get there. And with Krista's Eating Clean service, you don't have to do the hard work in terms of your meal prep. She will do it for you. And it makes life super easy. Krista,
So life is still easy.
I know. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm looking forward to our monthly sessions that we'll be doing with our What About. I'm looking forward for us collaborating. People, we will be here once a month talking about health and wellness. Absolutely. Don't miss it. Make sure that you're joining in. You're tuning in to hear about it.
And we're going to
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, we're going to aim for mid-month. So that people can kind of start planning ahead. But most people are tuned in every day anyway, so they're here for it. So,
and if people have suggestions of what they would like to hear, then they could send it to Eating Clean's WhatsApp. And if it's information that I have readily available, I will share. If it is something that I've gone through and how I've conquered it, I will share.
Awesome. All right, Krista, thank you so much.
Thank you. Everyone.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I was just saying, have an awesome, blessed day.
Awesome. Thank you. So again, folks, thanks again to Krista for joining us this morning. I love what Krista has done with her own life, and that's an example that I think we can all learn from and certainly follow. And I appreciate her coming on and willing to share information, share knowledge with us and with the other people, even in her group, because like I said, information is valuable, information is knowledge. And at the end of the day, there should be no reason why we are trying to hoard information. because, you know, oftentimes people think that they will get all the power and they will have all the knowledge to themselves as they try to hoard it and keep it. And we don't believe in that here at all on Cayman Mall Road. We believe in sharing it with everybody and empowering everyone, because the more of us that are empowered, the more meaningful ways in which we can move forward as a community, as individuals, the better off we will be. So I want to do a couple big shout outs. I think it was Andrea that mentioned earlier, she likes to end the show on a positive note. So let's do a few shout outs. We got birthday wishes. Now you guys know all about our CMR birthday club, because I'm sure that you've seen these before. So today is Glenn Jamero's birthday. So happy birthday to Glenn. Yesterday we had Dale Crichton's birthday. It was Karen Hides, known as KK from Cayman Airways. Happy birthday to Karen. We also had birthday greetings yesterday going out to John Andy Sustento. So happy birthday to John. Who else? We had a few birthdays yesterday. Unfortunately, we also had a few death announcements to make. Mr. Marshall Levy from Bodden Town passed away on Monday. So condolences to Mr. Levy's family. And also Leslie Hides from West Bay. He actually worked at Kurt's Supermarket. Leslie unfortunately passed away. Leslie was quite young. I don't even think Leslie was 40 yet. Leslie is a Christmas baby. I always remember that because people would always send him Christmas greetings, birthday greetings on Christmas Day. So December 25th is also his birthday. And he worked very closely with the special needs community through Lighthouse. He was a bocce coach, as well as he helped to coach the men's basketball team. And unfortunately, it looks like Leslie died from a heart attack. And that's so young and so sad. So our condolences to Leslie's family. Really likable young man, and dedicated a lot of his time to the special needs persons involved in the Special Olympics in this community. So big shout out again to the families who are mourning during times like this, because we know that this is an especially difficult time to lose a loved one to anything, because you can't even grieve in the same way that you have grown accustomed to grieving. You can't have a funeral with everybody in attendance. It's limited. And that whole process, I can tell you from personal experience, having just lost my father-in-law a month ago, you know, there has been no service yet. It really is, this whole COVID-19 situation has disrupted people's lives in so many ways, but it's a new normal. And so we just have to go with it and do the best that we can. Also, happy birthday yesterday to Queen Elizabeth. We did a fun article on 10 facts about Queen Elizabeth II. It was her birthday, and she is 94 years young. Folks, she has got some really good genes, I think, from her mom, because her mom lived to be like 100 or 98 or something as well. And she looks really good for 94, and she's still the queen. She's not handed over the reins yet. So I think that that's amazing. So happy birthday to the queen. And let's see who else we had. A big shout out to the food bank and the Meals on Wheels program. We have to put up a press release. I did see something come in from them. But a lot of you have been messaging me. We had Miss Thelma on the show on Monday. Miss Thelma is from Nicaragua, and she's one of those persons who actually was put in a very precarious situation because the Nicaraguan government decided to close their borders at the last minute, right like the day before a flight was leaving here to take some of their nationals back in. So a lot of you have contacted me. How can I help people like Miss Thelma and other people in this community? And I'm so thankful that we live in a community that's your first response. How do we help her? How do we help people like this? And so the outpouring of willingness to help and of funds and so forth has been amazing. Alric has really been working hard with the food bank And I know that he donated personally like 80 pounds of chicken, over 100 pounds of rice to try to help this community in need. So he has worked in conjunction with Dwight Ebanks from West Bay and his wife, Yenny Ebanks. So they're now helping out some Nicaraguan persons here in our local community to make sure that they will have food and some of the necessities that they require for the time being. Other people have contacted me as well about how they can help. So I'm putting them in contact with the Cayman Islands Food Bank, 926-6111. That's Philip's number. Please reach out to Philip, and we can all do our part, no matter how small or how big, or you can do something to help other people in need. So yes, kudos and hats off to those persons. Thank you also for the reminder from Tanisha. Condolences to the Levy family. Yes, for sure. And Tanisha's daughter was 12 yesterday. Happy birthday. You should have sent her pictures so we could have done a little CMR shout out to her. KRISTA said she forgot to mention this weekend, Eating Clean, along with Famous Restaurant and Bethel Church, will be giving away 200 meals. Wow. KRISTA, send me some information on that. We love to highlight these feel-good stories for sure. So I do know that the food bank has booked me to do something on Saturday for a fundraising event that they're having, or a donation. Someone is doing a private donation, but private being that they don't necessarily want people to know who they are. But we're going to still highlight the good that anonymous people in our community are willing to do. Michelle, the number is on the screen, 328-8655. Eating Clean. It's scrolling at the bottom. So yes, 328-8655. Yes. No problem, Michelle. And I think that's it for us. So again, we will continue to bring you all of the Cayman Islands news. Sad story about Don Foster's shutting down. That was sad to hear that business will be one of the casualties of COVID-19. And there will be many more casualties to come, unfortunately, in the world of business. Some people were struggling way before this, and this has only exacerbated what they're going through as a business and what their struggles are. And so now they're going to be packing up shop and closing their doors. So again, a big shout out to everyone who is working to try to make Earth Day a success today. There's still so many things that you can do, even within your homes. Talk to your children about the significance of Earth Day, why today is so special. Carol, don't forget that I have a gift certificate for you. And yeah, let's try to lead cleaner lives, both for ourselves and Mother Earth, friendly, environmentally friendly decisions that we can make each and every single day to make our lives that much better. You've been listening to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. And again, I want to thank our corporate sponsors that make this possible, such as the delivery service, the delivery app called Let's Eat. And I've got some food that I'm going to be eating here at lunchtime. So again, thanks, KRISTA, so much for breakfast. That was really good. And I'm looking forward to trying the plantain boats. And we will have, again, we're scheduled to have on Thursday, a pension administrator join us for the Thursday evening show at 7 p.m. So we want to invite you guys to make sure you tune in. Send your pension questions in advance. Sometimes it might help in case, she needs to do a little bit of research or anything like that. We can take it from there. Folks, have a beautiful day. It's Wednesday. So if your last name is A through K, it's your day to go out and about, only if you need to. So go to the grocery store, go to the pharmacy, if you've got any urgent things that you need to attend to. Otherwise, stay inside, stay in your yard, enjoy some gardening, get your exercise in, walk up the street a little bit, and be safe. And we'll see you guys here tomorrow morning at 7:15.
Cayman's restaurants have always been there for you. A place to get together with friends, to celebrate, to take a first date, or grab a meal between rugby and piano practice. And even though the tables are empty, some kitchens are still full, ready to feed you and your family while keeping you safe and making your meals as delicious as ever. They were there for you, now we can be there for them. While doors might be closed, kitchens are open for delivery. Let's eat.